Hey people, little remarks on the Alexei Navalny case. Well, as I've said before, nobody's giving you any proof except that maybe in media narrative or media picture that could be presented by somebody else, not the officials. So this is what was going on this time. During this week, the Navalny supporters, his team, the members of his team, published a video when they were evacuating the bottles from the hotel and putting them in the plastic bags and so on, so they can, I don't know what. So what was the idea back then? But well, they had the video of a live video broadcast, I think yesterday, where they described the details of what was going on. So they were lucky. That's what the main idea of that video that they were broadcasting yesterday. So first of all, they got a call immediately after the Alexei Navalny showed some signs of being poisoned, and so Kira Yarnish called Alexei Alburov, who luckily stayed in Tomsk, not going the same plane with Alexei Navalny, his boss, and some other people also stayed in Tomsk. So I don't know, were they lucky or not. So they got a call from Kira Yarnish, who was already in Omsk with Alexei Navalny being put into the emergency vehicle. And so she said he was supposed to be poisoned. So they went back to the hotel in Tomsk and asked to open up the room in the hotel. And so they were lucky because somebody came so the people in the hotel, these hotel staff didn't let him in and said they won't open the door. But they were lucky, and somebody came, some boss came of that hotel came and let them in. So they stepped into the room and literally wrapped into the plastic bags everything they wanted to evacuate, is what they said. Not letting cops in, just stealing all the stuff from the hotel, like plastic bottles and stuff like this. But nobody was letting them take the sheets from the bed. I don't know why. Maybe we're not that lucky this time. But anyway, nobody got poisoned by that plastic bottles and the rest of the stuff that was in the room. And this is how lucky they were. One of the bottles contained the remains of the Novichok that was claimed by the Bundeswehr lab in Germany, and that's the only evidence on the claim. And that claim is based on the bottle that was taken with the official procedure, with non-official procedures, I would say. So they can be suspected as an evidence, can be the evidence of the case. Can be the evidence that the case is based on, whatever you call it. It's just not the right place to take the evidence and the right procedures. So I don't know how about Germany, but in Russia this evidence won't be led in the court, except maybe like some evidence that cannot be trusted, only this way. So this is like judge me right or not, I can't let this evidence to be the case evidence, I would say. So this is my point of view, and as I've been saying before, there's many more coincidences, I would say, and their luck is very strange because nobody got poisoned while touching those bottles, even though they had like gloves and stuff like this. Remember Salisbury, where those spaceman jackets, people were surrounding the whole neighborhoods, and nobody was let in. All the cats were burned, all the rats were burned, everything was like, totally burned down. All the biological creatures were burned down in the Salisbury, and I would say that was just quite a procedure to evacuate people and everything from there. And so that was like a very strange situation where people touching the bottles and stuff like this, and nothing happens. So I would say that is quite suspicious for me. So I wouldn't trust that evidence, and I wouldn't be basing the whole accusation on this evidence. And so that's really strange. Okay. And also the Navalny had a teammate who arrived from London, who is one of the key Navalny staff members from outside of Russia. She is providing all the information on Navalny's research that he does on Russian corruption and stuff like this. So she is the one, she's providing him with the official information on real estate, bank accounts, and probably something else. So she is the one that's connected probably to some unofficial sources that are connected into the databases that have been provided by MI6, MI5. I don't know what the agency is working with her, but she is a totally double agent, and she was the one that was counting Navalny outside of the, outside of the Russian Federation. So, and she mystically disappears as she appeared and took the bottles with her and Navalny in the same plane, and they evacuated all the stuff to Germany. So she was the one that was the key figure, and nobody was even questioning her. That is very lucky. What do you say? Nobody even talked to her. So I don't know. That is very strange. So either the Russian special agencies are also collaborating in this case and showing us, is what I was saying, that nobody wants Merkel to stay in power. So they were imitating this case. And the second goal is actually pump up Navalny's ratings, so he can become literally well known outside of Russia and be a trusted media person. By the way, all this stuff could be happening only with the help of Russian special agencies. So believe me or not, Navalny was very much suspected to be a Russian special agent for many years, because he had 2 court sentences and none of them got him to jail. And that is very suspicious for Russia, being an opposition leader. What is your take on that? Write me in the comments. So how can you be an opposition leader, have 2 sentences for criminal cases, and not go to jail? How could that happen? And how could that happen that they got so lucky to take all this stuff with them and take Navalny with them? And so if the Russians actually knew they were poisoning Navalny with them, actually let them out with all this evidence on that plane, not questioning anyone, not even considering this as a criminal case, considering it is a sickness of Navalny only. And that was all the conclusions that the Russian Omsk doctors were promoting. The doctors who actually showed their faces, the doctors who actually showed their last names, and you can contact them via Facebook, via all the medical officials and stuff like this. So everybody knows those doctors, and we don't have any doctors in Germany who showing their faces. We have only suspicious labs from German army that nobody actually has a control to, and stuff like this. So there's a lot more questions. So I forgot a little bit how the bottle came from Tomsk to Omsk. That's like 650 kilometers away. Who took those bottles to Omsk? Because the plane that took Navalny from Omsk, that German plane, is what carried those bottles to the Germany. So that is the big question. because those guys who funded this airplane, this private plane, the jet plane that took Navalny, and it cost them around like I'd say $200,000. So those people who funded this evacuation process and took those bottles with them, how did they get them in Omsk? Because those bottles were in Tomsk when they were so that is the big question. And isn't that the criminal offense, guys, to take the evidence from the crime scene? I don't know about you, your country, but in Russia, that's a criminal case. You can take the evidence from the crime scene before the cops or after the cops. The crime scene is a crime scene. So I don't know. I'm not even saying anything about this illegal investigation that they proceeded and the probes that were taken from those bottles, how those probes can actually be correlated with the real criminal investigation and how this evidence can be trusted. But still, that is quite a question. So announcing everybody and publishing the video in the internet that they took the evidence from the crime scene is a criminal offense for them. So they should be imprisoned for this case, but nobody is, so that's a big luck for them. Nobody's even interrogating and investigating that case, even though they claimed it like 3-4 days ago. So and still they are out and free to move and post a bunch of bullshit and comment a bunch of bullshit on the media. So that's how it goes. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. See you later. Bye. Just before the edition of this video, there came up the information about the interview that BBC made with Maria Pevchik and possibly trying to debunk all the conspiracy concerning her participation in the case and possible relation to poisoning. And 4-minute interview was released on BBC in Russian version without English translation, so you can probably find it. And nobody was nobody was asking questions about her father, who is like a Russian nanobiologist and has a laboratory and a company and a head of company, CEO company that is related to cellular and molecular biology, and his scientific research and developments in microbiology. So nobody asked her any of those questions. In fact, they only asked her comfortable questions about her investigation job at Navalny's foundation. So nothing was about the case of poisoning, how she got the bottles, how she got to Tomsk, and so on and so forth. So nobody was actually doing the journalist job. But after that, they released the full so-called full version in text, where we probably can say that they never had this actually filmed, but so they made up the questions so they can be literally good enough to do that. So that is an example of journalism of BBC, and Navalny can probably only guess why did they poison him and set up all this script concerning accusation of Russia and possible sanctions over Nord Stream 2 and stuff like this. And my theory about Merkel is still actual.